Namo Buddhaya. What if the secret to unlocking wisdom wasn't hidden in ancient texts or years of meditation, but rather in a single realization? Imagine understanding that the first step to wisdom is not having all the answers, but embracing the fact that you don't know. This is where true wisdom begins. In a world that teaches us to follow, nod, and conform, the real path to enlightenment is paved by curiosity and humility. What if the key to a more fulfilled life is in asking, not knowing? Let's embark on this journey to uncover the beginning of wisdom. Life is an unpredictable journey, but there is one constant: change. From the moment we are born until our final breath, we are surrounded by transformation. This is not just a philosophical concept. It's an undeniable truth that everything in the universe is subject to change. In Buddhism, the idea of impermanence is foundational. It teaches that nothing stays the same. So, what do we do with this knowledge? Do we resist change, or do we accept it? To fully understand the true nature of life, we must embrace change, not as a source of discomfort, but as the starting point of wisdom. The first step in this process is becoming a seeker. Becoming a seeker, not a follower. In today's world, many of us fall into the trap of becoming followers. We nod our heads, accepting ideas, without truly questioning or seeking deeper understanding. Whether it's in society, religion, or our personal lives, we are conditioned to follow rather than seek. But wisdom, as taught by the Buddha, doesn't come from blind following. It comes from curiosity, from the willingness to ask questions. To become a seeker, you must shed the mindset of a passive observer and engage in active exploration. Ask yourself, why is this happening? How is it happening? It's in these questions that the seed of wisdom begins to sprout. When we question the world around us, we not only gain knowledge, but we start to understand the very nature of existence. The ego and asking for help. One of the greatest barriers to wisdom is the ego. Our ego convinces us that asking questions or seeking help is a sign of weakness. But in truth, acknowledging that you don't know something is the most powerful step you can take toward personal growth. In Buddhism, humility is essential. It's a lesson that can be difficult to accept, especially in a society that values independence and self-reliance. To ask for help, to admit that you don't have all the answers, requires putting down your ego. Think about the times when you hesitated to ask for clarification or assistance. How many opportunities for growth did you miss because of your pride? Wisdom comes from shedding this pride and embracing the vulnerability of not knowing. Let me share a personal story that exemplifies this lesson. Years ago, I found myself in a new job where I was surrounded by experts. My natural instinct was to nod and pretend I knew everything. But deep down, I knew I didn't. The turning point came when I finally admitted to a colleague that I didn't understand a particular process. To my surprise, not only was my colleague happy to help, but I gained invaluable knowledge that day. What's more, admitting my ignorance didn't diminish me in their eyes. It showed that I was willing to learn. This humility opened up doors for mentorship and growth. Similarly, in our spiritual journey, admitting that we don't know is what opens the path to true understanding. The first step, realizing, I don't know. The Buddha teaches that the first step toward wisdom is the realization that you don't know. This might seem counterintuitive at first. After all, how can admitting ignorance be a sign of wisdom? But it's in this moment of vulnerability that we open ourselves up to learning. Imagine walking into a library filled with countless books. You could pretend to have read them all, or you could approach them with the mindset of someone eager to learn. The seeker, who admits they haven't read the books, will gain much more than the follower, who pretends to know everything. This concept extends beyond just spiritual teachings. It applies to every aspect of life. When we recognize our limitations, we invite growth, learning, and ultimately, wisdom. Embracing the unknown. A key to growth. The path of wisdom is not linear. It's filled with twists, turns, and moments of doubt. But what sets a wise person apart is their ability to embrace the unknown. They don't shy away from uncertainty. They welcome it. Consider the greatest scientists, philosophers, and spiritual leaders throughout history. What they all have in common is their willingness to confront what they don't know. They didn't stop at surface-level understanding. They pushed forward, continually asking questions and seeking deeper truths. By embracing change, shedding the ego, and asking why, we not only gain knowledge but develop a wisdom that transcends surface-level understanding. As we conclude, remember this. True wisdom is rooted in humility. The moment we admit that we don't know, we begin to learn. The more questions we ask, the more we grow. So, let's strive to become seekers in our daily lives. Let's embrace the unknown, ask questions, and never stop seeking the deeper truths that life has to offer. Namo Buddhaya. Have you ever sat down in an exam room, staring at a question that you know you studied, but the answer seems to have vanished from your mind? It's a frustrating experience that many students face. Why does this happen? Why is it that no matter how hard you try, sometimes your brain just refuses to recall what you've learned? In this video, we'll explore what causes this sudden forgetfulness from a Buddhist perspective, focusing on the 5 mental hindrances that block our ability to remember. And, more importantly, we'll uncover a powerful tool, meditation, that not only helps you overcome these obstacles, but enhances your ability to retain knowledge. The 5 hindrances to memory. According to the teachings of the Supreme Buddha, forgetfulness, especially when studying, often stems from what are called the 5 hindrances. These mental blocks cloud our mind, making it difficult to absorb and recall information. Let's break them down. Sensual desire, kama chandu. This refers to craving or lustful thoughts. When your mind is preoccupied with these desires, it becomes impossible to focus on studying. Your mind is wandering somewhere else, fantasizing about things that have nothing to do with the task at hand. Anger, vyapada. Have you ever tried to concentrate when you're furious? It's nearly impossible. Anger heats up the mind, diverting attention away from studying. Instead of focusing on the material, your thoughts are consumed with rage. Sleepiness, thina mida. Feeling sleepy while studying is one of the most common challenges. When your mind is covered by drowsiness, nothing sticks. The knowledge simply doesn't have the energy to sink in. Restlessness and worry, udaka kukucha. Sometimes your mind is too restless, filled with anxiety or regret. You may find yourself constantly distracted by random thoughts, making it difficult to focus on your studies. Doubt, vicikiccha. Doubt about your abilities can be a major obstacle. If you're constantly thinking, "Am I good enough? Will I succeed?" then your mind is too occupied with these thoughts to absorb any new information. connecting with personal experience. These 5 hindrances might sound familiar because they reflect universal struggles we all face. Think about that time you stayed up late cramming for a test, but your mind wandered, thinking about something completely unrelated. Or maybe you felt so anxious about how you'd perform that doubt clouded your ability to focus. In my own journey, I remember times when anger or frustration about something unrelated to my studies completely derailed me. I'd sit down with the intention to focus, but my mind was so distracted by emotions that nothing stuck. Over time, I discovered that meditation was the key to pushing through these barriers. How meditation helps overcome these hindrances. Buddhism teaches that meditation is the best remedy to quiet the mind and remove these hindrances. But how exactly does meditation help? Let me share some practical examples of how it works. Sensual desire. Imagine you're trying to study, but your mind keeps drifting toward thoughts about a vacation or a new hobby. Practicing mindfulness meditation can help you notice when your thoughts stray. When you become aware of your desires and bring your attention back to the present moment, your concentration improves. Personally, I've noticed that even just 5 minutes of breathing meditation helps me stay focused on what matters. Anger. Meditation also works wonders for anger. When you're furious, your thoughts spin out of control. But through meditation, you learn to recognize anger as it arises, allowing you to take a step back before it consumes you. For example, I once had an argument with a friend just before a big test. Instead of studying, I was fuming. A short meditation session calmed me down and allowed me to regain focus. Sleepiness. We all know that sleepy feeling when studying. I've found that a quick 5-minute meditation in the morning makes all the difference. Just focusing on my breath or doing a short body scan helps me shake off that drowsiness. It's like a mental caffeine boost that clears away the fog. Restlessness and worry. If your mind is restless, focusing on meditation can ground you. For example, I used to worry constantly about upcoming exams. My mind raced through endless what-ifs. But meditation taught me to stay in the moment. When I practiced loving-kindness meditation, focusing on sending positive thoughts to myself and others, I found that my mind settled down, and I could focus on studying again. Doubt. Doubt can paralyze you. Whenever I doubted my ability to succeed, my studies suffered. But meditation gave me the tools to manage this self-doubt. Through practicing compassion meditation, I learned to treat myself with kindness and realize that it's okay not to be perfect. This shift in mindset was a game changer. Let's dive deeper with a real-life scenario. I remember preparing for a crucial final exam in college. I had studied for days, but on the morning of the test, I was overwhelmed by anxiety. My mind was spinning with worry, and I could barely remember anything. I decided to pause for a moment, closed my eyes, and practiced a simple breathing meditation for 10 minutes. By the time I finished, my mind was clearer, my heart rate slowed down, and I felt more centered. As a result, I walked into the exam feeling focused and calm. The exam didn't seem as daunting anymore, and I remembered everything I had studied. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? When you study, it's not just about reading books or memorizing facts. It's about preparing your mind to be in the best possible state to absorb and retain information. The 5 hindrances, sensual desire, anger, sleepiness, restlessness, and doubt, are barriers that keep us from accessing the full potential of our memory. But by practicing meditation, even for just 5 minutes a day, you can calm your mind, push away these obstacles and unlock your ability to remember what you've learned. Next time you sit down to study, remember that it's not just about the time you put in, but the mental clarity you bring to the table. Whether you're battling drowsiness or self-doubt, a few minutes of meditation could be the difference between forgetting everything and acing your exam. Try it out for yourself. Commit to meditating for 5 minutes every morning before you start studying. You might be surprised by the results. And if you want to learn more about meditation and how it can improve your life beyond just studying, make sure to check out the other videos on this channel. The key to remembering what you study lies not just in effort, but in the state of your mind. Clear away the hindrances, and your mind will be a fertile ground for knowledge to grow. Namo Buddhaya. We live in a world where appearance often dictates how we're perceived. Billions are spent on skincare, cosmetics, and treatments, all in the pursuit of beauty. We scroll through social media, marveling at flawless faces and perfect bodies. But is this really where beauty begins and ends? Buddhism offers a different perspective. According to the teachings of the Supreme Buddha, true beauty isn't just skin deep. It radiates from within, and it all starts with a simple practice: loving kindness. Imagine if instead of spending money on expensive treatments, we could transform our outer appearance through inner peace. Sounds unbelievable, right? But there's ancient wisdom that backs this idea. The Buddha himself revealed that practicing kindness could actually improve not only our mood, but our physical appearance as well. This is no mere myth. There's a deeper connection between our thoughts and the way we look, and I'm excited to explore that connection with you today. Most people focus only on skin-deep beauty. That's understandable. After all, we are visual creatures. But think about it. How long does outer beauty last? 50 years, maybe 60 if we're lucky. Time has its way with all of us. Wrinkles, gray hair, and other signs of aging are inevitable. But what if there's a form of beauty that defies time? The Supreme Buddha identified 2 types of beauty. The first, and most commonly pursued, is physical beauty. This is what most of us chase. But the second is much more enduring. It's the beauty of the heart. Inner beauty, cultivated through kindness, lasts longer than any cream or surgery could promise. Even better, it's free. We've all met people who may not be considered conventionally attractive, yet they have a certain glow about them. Their faces light up when they smile, and their kindness radiates from their eyes. This is the result of cultivating loving kindness. It's a form of beauty that transcends age, race, and cultural ideals. Consider a time when you've been extremely stressed or anxious. Didn't it show on your face? Maybe your skin broke out, or you noticed dark circles under your eyes. Our thoughts have a significant impact on our outer appearance. When we harbor negative emotions, anger, jealousy, or hatred, it manifests physically. On the other hand, when we cultivate kindness and peace, it reflects positively. For example, there's a well-documented phenomenon where people who meditate regularly, especially on loving kindness, often exhibit healthier, more vibrant skin. This isn't just some mystical concept. It's backed by science. Loving kindness meditation lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that can wreak havoc on our skin and overall appearance. By reducing stress and increasing positive emotions, we can create a healthier, more attractive version of ourselves. Here's a real-world example. Think of someone who constantly carries a scowl on their face. Over time, their facial muscles adapt to this negativity, and their expressions reflect it. Contrast this with someone who practices kindness daily, someone who smiles often and expresses joy. Their facial muscles naturally soften, making them more approachable and, in many cases, more attractive. So, how exactly does one practice loving kindness, and how can it lead to a more beautiful life? The beauty secret revealed by the Buddha is not found in any external product. It lies within the mind. It begins with developing a mindset of love and kindness toward oneself and others. The practice of loving kindness meditation involves sitting quietly and focusing on generating feelings of compassion and goodwill. It starts with yourself. May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be free from suffering. Gradually, you expand this circle of kindness to include loved ones, acquaintances, and even those you might consider enemies. This practice works wonders not only for your mental health, but also for your appearance. As your heart becomes more peaceful, your face reflects this inner state. There's an unmistakable softness that comes with inner peace, a radiance that no amount of money can buy. The science behind loving kindness and beauty research shows that loving kindness meditation doesn't just change your mind, it changes your body. Studies conducted at various universities have found that people who regularly engage in this practice experience lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. This reduced stress leads to lower cortisol levels, which can positively affect skin health, weight, and even immune function. For example, a study published in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology demonstrated that individuals who practiced loving kindness meditation for 8 weeks showed a significant reduction in the biological markers of aging. This was compared to a control group that did not practice meditation, whose stress levels and signs of aging remained unchanged. If you're seeking that elusive fountain of youth, perhaps the answer isn't in a jar of cream, but rather in your ability to nurture positive thoughts and emotions. Real beauty is a reflection of inner peace. One of the most remarkable transformations I have seen comes from a close friend of mine who struggled with low self-esteem and body image issues for years. She spent a fortune on skincare products, makeup, and treatments, yet she was never satisfied with how she looked. Then, she discovered the practice of loving kindness meditation. Over time, as she practiced this meditation daily, something magical happened. She began to look different. It wasn't that her skin changed overnight, but her attitude did. She smiled more, carried herself with more confidence, and her facial expressions softened. Her friends began commenting on how radiant she looked, and people at work started asking her what skincare routine she was using. The truth was, it wasn't a product that had transformed her. It was her mind. Summary lesson: cultivate inner peace to reflect outer beauty. The takeaway here is simple yet profound. Real beauty comes from within. While it's perfectly fine to take care of your skin and appearance, remember that these things are temporary. The practice of loving kindness, however, has the power to create lasting beauty that transcends age and outward appearance. In a world obsessed with physical perfection, the Buddha's teachings remind us that true beauty is a reflection of inner peace. By cultivating kindness, we not only improve our emotional well-being, but also radiate a glow that no product can replicate. So, next time you look in the mirror, ask yourself, am I nurturing the beauty of my heart as well as my skin? Final thoughts. A timeless beauty secret. As you go about your daily life, remember the simple yet powerful secret that the Buddha shared. Beauty is born from kindness. Whether you're stressed, overwhelmed, or simply searching for a way to enhance your appearance, start with your heart. Practice loving kindness, and watch as it transforms not just your mind, but your entire being. True beauty isn't found in the latest trend or product. It's found in your ability to love and be kind. Let this ancient wisdom guide you toward a more beautiful, peaceful, and fulfilling life. Namo Buddhaya. In today's fast-paced world, many of us feel overwhelmed, constantly bombarded with information and distractions. The never-ending stream of notifications, social media posts, and daily responsibilities can create a storm in our minds. If you've ever felt that chaos pulling you in different directions, you're not alone. But imagine this. What if you could find a calm, serene space within yourself, even in the middle of all the noise? This isn't just a dream, but a very real possibility that lies within our reach. In this video, we'll explore powerful techniques to help you find calm and peace, not just during quiet moments, but in the middle of life's chaos. Understanding the source of calmness. It's not external. One of the most important lessons in Buddhism is that calmness and peace don't come from external circumstances. Many people believe that they'll only feel peaceful once they have enough money, time, or when everything falls into place. However, the reality is that inner peace is a skill you develop, much like training a muscle. It comes from within. No matter where you are or what is happening around you, the ability to stay calm is something you can cultivate. Think of your mind like the sky. Sometimes it's clear and sometimes it's filled with clouds. The clouds represent your thoughts, emotions, and reactions to the world around you. But no matter how many clouds appear, the sky itself never changes. It remains vast, untouched, and serene. The key is to realize that you are the sky, not the clouds. Just as the sky watches the clouds pass, you can watch your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Reacting to thoughts. Why it disrupts our peace. A common mistake people make is identifying with their thoughts. They believe, "I am my thoughts," but this couldn't be further from the truth. Thoughts are like visitors. They come and go. When you realize this, you can create space between yourself and your thoughts. For example, when an angry thought comes to mind, rather than immediately reacting, you can pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, is this worth reacting to? R. Reagan, 11 October 2024 at 14:07:39. In Buddhism, this concept of observing thoughts without reacting is essential to maintaining inner peace. It's like watching traffic on the road. You don't run after every car you see, right? You simply observe. The same approach can be taken with your thoughts. Observe them without attachment. This simple practice can transform how you experience life, reducing stress and emotional turmoil. Specific example: practicing non-reactivity. Let's take an example from everyday life. Imagine you're at work and a colleague makes a frustrating comment. Normally, your first reaction might be anger or defensiveness. But what if, instead of reacting immediately, you paused and noticed the anger arising in you? You could observe it like a cloud passing through the sky. You would realize that this emotion doesn't define you. It's simply a temporary feeling. By not reacting, you maintain your peace and respond more mindfully. Slowing down the body to calm the mind. Now, let's dive into a practical technique that can help you slow down your racing thoughts. Have you ever noticed that when you're stressed, your body tends to move faster? Maybe your breathing quickens, or you start fidgeting. The mind and body are deeply interconnected. When your mind is in chaos, your body mirrors that state, becoming tense and agitated. One effective way to counter this is by deliberately slowing down your physical movements. Whether you're walking, eating, or even typing at your computer, try to move more slowly and mindfully. By doing so, you send a signal to your mind that it's okay to slow down too. This practice not only calms the body, but also helps to ease mental stress. Example of body-mind connection. For instance, try this simple exercise. While walking, pay attention to each step. Walk a little slower than usual and notice how it feels. With each step, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. This simple act of mindfulness can bring an immediate sense of calm. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes to bring calmness into your daily routine. Breathing meditation. Condensing your thoughts. Another key Buddhist practice for calming the mind is breathing meditation. This technique is simple but incredibly powerful. When your mind is full of scattered thoughts, focusing on your breath helps condense and simplify your mental activity. It's like narrowing your attention from a wide-angle view to a single point. All you need to do is focus on your in-breath and out-breath. As you inhale, mentally note in, and as you exhale, mentally note out. This awareness of the breath anchors you to the present moment, allowing the chaotic thoughts to naturally settle down. Over time, you'll find that you become less reactive to distractions and more centered. Example: applying breathing meditation in stressful situations. Let's say you're in a high-pressure meeting at work, and your mind is racing with anxious thoughts. Instead of getting swept up in the stress, you can take a few moments to focus on your breath. Inhale deeply, note in, and then exhale slowly, note out. By doing this, you ground yourself in the present moment, making it easier to stay calm and composed. Judging your thoughts. Why it disrupts inner peace. Another common habit that disrupts our peace is judging our thoughts. We label them as good or bad, and this judgment often leads to further emotional reactions. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to let go of this judgment and simply observe thoughts without attaching labels to them. Imagine sitting by a busy road. Cars, bikes, and buses pass by, but you're not chasing after them or blocking their way. You're just observing. The same approach can be applied to thoughts. Let them pass by without getting caught up in them. This practice of non-judgmental awareness is the key to maintaining peace in the midst of life's challenges. Example: watching thoughts like traffic. Let's say you're trying to meditate and thoughts keep popping into your head. Instead of getting frustrated or labeling them as bad, just notice them, like watching cars pass by. The thoughts will come and go, but you remain peaceful and unattached. Conclusion. Summarizing the lessons. In conclusion, cultivating calmness and peace in your life doesn't require changing your external circumstances. It's about changing your inner response to those circumstances. By slowing down your body, practicing breathing meditation, and observing your thoughts without reacting or judging, you can create a deep sense of peace, even in the middle of chaos. Remember, you are not your thoughts. Like the sky watching clouds pass by, you can watch your thoughts come and go, without letting them disturb your inner serenity. Peacefulness is a skill, one that, with practice, you can master. May you all find peace and calm within, no matter what storms may arise. Namo Buddhaya. We live in a world where appearance often dictates how we're perceived. Billions are spent on skincare, cosmetics, and treatments, all in the pursuit of beauty. We scroll through social media, marveling at flawless faces and perfect bodies. But is this really where beauty begins and ends? Buddhism offers a different perspective. According to the teachings of the Supreme Buddha, true beauty isn't just skin deep. It radiates from within, and it all starts with a simple practice: loving kindness. Imagine if instead of spending money on expensive treatments, we could transform our outer appearance through inner peace. Sounds unbelievable, right? But there's ancient wisdom that backs this idea. The Buddha himself revealed that practicing kindness could actually improve not only our mood, but our physical appearance as well. This is no mere myth. There's a deeper connection between our thoughts and the way we look, and I'm excited to explore that connection with you today. Most people focus only on skin-deep beauty. That's understandable. After all, we are visual creatures. But think about it. How long does outer beauty last? 50 years, maybe 60 if we're lucky. Time has its way with all of us. Wrinkles, gray hair, and other signs of aging are inevitable. But what if there's a form of beauty that defies time? The Supreme Buddha identified two types of beauty. The first, and most commonly pursued, is physical beauty. This is what most of us chase. But the second is much more enduring. It's the beauty of the heart. Inner beauty, cultivated through kindness, lasts longer than any cream or surgery could promise. Even better, it's free. We've all met people who may not be considered conventionally attractive, yet they have a certain glow about them. Their faces light up when they smile, and their kindness radiates from their eyes. This is the result of cultivating loving kindness. It's a form of beauty that transcends age, race, and cultural ideals. Consider a time when you've been extremely stressed or anxious. Didn't it show on your face? Maybe your skin broke out, or you noticed dark circles under your eyes. Our thoughts have a significant impact on our outer appearance. When we harbor negative emotions, anger, jealousy, or hatred, it manifests physically. On the other hand, when we cultivate kindness and peace, it reflects positively. For example, there's a well-documented phenomenon where people who meditate regularly, especially on loving kindness, often exhibit healthier, more vibrant skin. This isn't just some mystical concept. It's backed by science. Loving kindness meditation lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that can wreak havoc on our skin and overall appearance. By reducing stress and increasing positive emotions, we can create a healthier, more attractive version of ourselves. Here's a real-world example. Think of someone who constantly carries a scowl on their face. Over time, their facial muscles adapt to this negativity, and their expressions reflect it. Contrast this with someone who practices kindness daily, someone who smiles often and expresses joy. Their facial muscles naturally soften, making them more approachable and, in many cases, more attractive. So, how exactly does one practice loving kindness, and how can it lead to a more beautiful life? The beauty secret revealed by the Buddha is not found in any external product. It lies within the mind. It begins with developing a mindset of love and kindness toward oneself and others. The practice of loving kindness meditation involves sitting quietly and focusing on generating feelings of compassion and goodwill. It starts with yourself. May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be free from suffering. Gradually, you expand this circle of kindness to include loved ones, acquaintances, and even those you might consider enemies. This practice works wonders not only for your mental health, but also for your appearance. As your heart becomes more peaceful, your face reflects this inner state. There's an unmistakable softness that comes with inner peace, a radiance that no amount of money can buy. The science behind loving kindness and beauty research shows that loving kindness meditation doesn't just change your mind, it changes your body. Studies conducted at various universities have found that people who regularly engage in this practice experience lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. This reduced stress leads to lower cortisol levels, which can positively affect skin health, weight, and even immune function. For example, a study published in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology demonstrated that individuals who practiced loving-kindness meditation for 8 weeks showed a significant reduction in the biological markers of aging. This was compared to a control group that did not practice meditation, whose stress levels and signs of aging remained unchanged. If you're seeking that elusive fountain of youth, perhaps the answer isn't in a jar of cream, but rather in your ability to nurture positive thoughts and emotions. Real beauty is a reflection of inner peace. One of the most remarkable transformations I've seen comes from a close friend of mine who struggled with low self-esteem and body image issues for years. She spent a fortune on skincare products, makeup, and treatments, yet she was never satisfied with how she looked. Then, she discovered the practice of loving-kindness meditation. Over time, as she practiced this meditation daily, something magical happened. She began to look different. It wasn't that her skin changed overnight, but her attitude did. She smiled more, carried herself with more confidence, and her facial expressions softened. Her friends began commenting on how radiant she looked, and people at work started asking her what skincare routine she was using. The truth was, it wasn't a product that had transformed her. It was her mind. Summary lesson: cultivate inner peace to reflect outer beauty. The takeaway here is simple yet profound. Real beauty comes from within. While it's perfectly fine to take care of your skin and appearance, remember that these things are temporary. The practice of loving kindness, however, has the power to create lasting beauty that transcends age and outward appearance. In a world obsessed with physical perfection, the Buddha's teachings remind us that true beauty is a reflection of inner peace. By cultivating kindness, we not only improve our emotional well-being, but also radiate a glow that no product can replicate. So, next time you look in the mirror, ask yourself, am I nurturing the beauty of my heart as well as my skin? Final thoughts: a timeless beauty secret. As you go about your daily life, remember the simple yet powerful secret that the Buddha shared. Beauty is born from kindness. Whether you're stressed, overwhelmed, or simply searching for a way to enhance your appearance, start with your heart. Practice loving kindness, and watch as it transforms not just your mind, but your entire being. True beauty isn't found in the latest trend or product. It's found in your ability to love and be kind. Let this ancient wisdom guide you toward a more beautiful, peaceful, and fulfilling life. Namo Buddhaya. Have you ever wondered why negative thoughts seem to stick to our minds, causing unnecessary stress and anxiety? Imagine waking up every day with complete control over your emotions, even in the face of anger, jealousy, or frustration. In today's video, we'll explore how to achieve that level of mental mastery using timeless Buddhist teachings. These methods have been practiced for centuries and can help you shift from chaos to calm, making your mind a peaceful place, free from negativity. But first, let's acknowledge a truth. Controlling our mind isn't easy. It's a journey that takes time, but with determination and awareness, you can experience profound changes. So, what does it take to tame these inner demons? Let's explore 5 proven steps, as taught by the Supreme Buddha, to help you regain control over your mind. Step 1. Awareness, the first key to mastery. The first and most crucial step to controlling your mind is awareness. Without being aware of your thoughts, you cannot change them. Buddha taught that we must be mindful of the negative thoughts that arise, whether they are thoughts of anger, desire, jealousy, or resentment. Awareness gives us the power to take control. Being aware sounds simple, but in reality, it requires constant attention. It's like learning to play an instrument. You can't master it overnight. In our modern world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, work, relationships, and all these distractions fuel our negative emotions. To counter this, start small. Dedicate 5 minutes each morning to observing your thoughts. Just sit quietly and pay attention to what crosses your mind. Over time, you'll notice patterns and be able to catch negative thoughts before they take root. Here's a personal example. Once, after a stressful workday, I found myself consumed by anger over something trivial. But because I had been practicing mindfulness, I was able to catch the thought, breathe, and let it pass before reacting. This small victory was only possible because I'd started incorporating mindfulness into my daily routine. Imagine how much calmer your life could be if you built this practice into your daily schedule. Step 2. Shifting thought patterns. Once you are aware of negative thoughts, the next step is to shift your thinking to something wholesome. Buddha suggests replacing negative emotions like anger with thoughts of kindness, compassion, or past good deeds. Reflecting on times when you helped someone or felt genuinely happy can instantly change your mental state. This step isn't just about ignoring the bad, it's about actively choosing the good. Think about how you feel after watching an inspiring movie or hearing a story about kindness. Your mood lightens and your perspective changes. The same goes for your mind when you consciously decide to think of something positive. For instance, if jealousy creeps into your thoughts, replace it with gratitude. Instead of focusing on what others have, think about what you're grateful for in your life. You'll be surprised how much lighter your mind feels. I've personally found that keeping a gratitude journal helps. Each night, I write down 3 things I'm thankful for. It's a small act, but it shifts my mindset from negativity to appreciation. Try it out. You might find it's just the boost you need to break free from harmful thinking patterns. Step 3. Recognizing the disadvantages of negative thoughts. If shifting your thoughts doesn't work, Buddha advises us to consider the disadvantages of negative thinking. Ask yourself, how does anger or jealousy serve me? More often than not, negative thoughts hurt you and those around you. Thinking about these consequences can motivate you to avoid dwelling on them. We've all been there, caught in a cycle of negative thoughts that lead us nowhere good. One example that resonates with many is the feeling of anger. Think about a time when you held on to anger. Did it make you feel better, or did it fuel further negativity? I remember an incident where a minor misunderstanding with a friend spiraled into a full-blown argument because I refused to let go of my frustration. Reflecting on that now, I realize how much better things could have been if I had recognized the futility of my anger earlier. It took a toll on my peace and damaged the relationship for a while. Recognizing that these emotions harm us, not only mentally but physically, helps us learn to let go before they take control. Step 4. Pay no attention to negative thoughts. If the previous steps don't work, Buddha recommends ignoring negative thoughts altogether. Much like how we can ignore background noise, we can also train ourselves to ignore intrusive emotions and let them pass without giving them power. This step is often the hardest. Our natural tendency is to obsess over what bothers us. But here's a little trick that I've found helpful. Think of your mind like a radio. Negative thoughts are static. They're there, but you can tune them out by focusing on the main broadcast, your goals, dreams, or simply your breath. Once, during a particularly stressful project, I found myself overwhelmed with self-doubt. Instead of feeding into it, I decided to focus on the task at hand and ignored the nagging voice of insecurity. It wasn't easy, but after some practice, I was able to work more efficiently, free from the mental fog. Training yourself to do this may take time, but it's one of the most empowering skills you'll ever develop. Step 5. Crushing the thought with awareness. The final step, which requires careful practice, is to crush the negative thought entirely with determination. Buddha advises that this should be done only by those with advanced practice in mindfulness, as it can be difficult to forcefully stop a thought without causing it to rebound stronger. This step is not for everyone, but if you reach a level of deep mindfulness, you'll find that you can control your mind's focus with great precision. Think of this like advanced training for the mind, similar to how athletes train their bodies. It's not about brute force, but rather a practiced skill that requires subtlety and awareness. Personally, I've only reached this stage a few times, but when I have, it felt like a breakthrough. Imagine being able to control your thoughts like a master conductor guiding an orchestra. It's that powerful. While it takes time to get there, even practicing the earlier steps will help you build the mental strength needed to eventually crush negativity at its source. Controlling our minds is a lifelong journey, not an overnight transformation. But by practicing these steps, awareness, shifting thoughts, recognizing disadvantages, paying no attention, and advanced mindfulness, you can begin to take control of your mental state and reduce the influence of negative emotions. It's all about consistency and persistence. Keep practicing, and over time, your mind will become a peaceful place where negative thoughts lose their power. Remember, every step forward is progress. Don't give up if it feels hard at first. The Buddha's teachings remind us that with effort, anything is possible, including mastering our own minds. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on Buddhist teachings and practical tips to improve your life. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What step are you most excited to try? Namo Buddhaya. Have you ever felt that certain people enter your life at just the right moment, as if guided by some unseen force? You meet someone who becomes a critical part of your journey, helping you through a problem or teaching you a profound lesson. What if I told you that none of this is accidental? This captivating story draws on Zen wisdom to explore how people come into our lives for specific reasons, helping us grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Stay with me until the end, and you'll uncover the hidden meaning behind these encounters, which may just transform how you view your relationships. Encounters that change our lives. As the video begins, a young man named Hiroshi approaches an elderly monk, Hotaka, with a puzzling question. He asks, "Why do I sometimes meet people who feel familiar, as though I've known them before? And why do I feel uneasy around others, as though they are meant to cause me harm?" Hotaka's response is clear. People do not enter our lives by chance. His wisdom offers us a window into a much deeper truth, one that resonates with everyone who has ever felt a strong connection or aversion to another person. Hotaka points out that life is much like a flowing river, with each person being carried by unseen currents. Whether they bring joy or pain, each person contributes to our development in ways that are often difficult to see at the moment. Reflecting on our own connections. In this part of the video, I invite you to pause and reflect on your own life. Think about the people who have made an impact on you, whether for better or worse. Haven't you noticed that when you're going through a tough time, someone unexpectedly enters your life and supports you? Or sometimes they challenge you, forcing you to face the truths you'd rather ignore. For me, one such encounter came during a difficult phase of my life. A close friend, seemingly out of nowhere, helped me through the storm, much like Hiroshi's reflections on his solid anchor during troubled times. This friend eventually left my life, but their presence had served a vital purpose. Looking back, it was as if the universe had sent them for that specific moment, just like the people in Zen stories who come with hidden lessons. Seeds planted by destiny. Returning to the video's narrative, Hotaka compares life to a garden where every person we meet is like a seed. Some seeds bloom into colorful flowers that brighten our lives for a season, while others grow into mighty trees, providing long-lasting support. Yet, every seed, every person, brings with them a promise of growth. These examples remind us that no encounter is ever wasted. Even people who hurt us often play the role of our greatest teachers. They force us to develop resilience, patience, and inner strength. The Zen teaching emphasizes that life is full of sharp stones, representing difficult encounters, and it is precisely these challenges that shape us. The painful lessons. Now, think of those who have hurt you. It's easy to wish that such people had never entered your life, but when viewed through the lens of Zen philosophy, they become valuable teachers. I recall a personal experience where someone's betrayal taught me one of the most important lessons about self-worth and boundaries. The pain forced me to reevaluate my relationships, which ultimately led to profound personal growth. As Hotaka points out, even the painful people are like stones on our path, and their role is essential to our journey. Through them, we find our inner strength. The support in times of need. There are also those who appear in our lives when we need them most. Hotaka continues. Like the roots of a mighty tree that hold it steady during storms, these individuals provide us with support during our toughest times. Hiroshi recalls someone who was his refuge in a particularly challenging period, a solid anchor when he needed it most. These people don't stay forever, but they appear at just the right moment to help us navigate life's storms. This idea may seem simple, but it carries profound implications. How often have we tried to hold on to people who were only meant to be with us for a season? Understanding their role can offer peace, allowing us to appreciate them without resentment when they eventually leave. Embracing temporary support. One of the most challenging things in life is letting go of people who were vital during a certain period, but no longer belong in your future. I've personally experienced this several times. It's hard to accept that their role in your life is complete. Yet, when viewed through Zen wisdom, it becomes clear that their departure is as natural as their arrival. I found strength in accepting that people are like stars that guide us for a moment, but eventually disappear into the night. The constant stars in our lives. Some people, however, remain with us forever. Hotaka explains that these individuals are like fixed stars in the sky, always bright, always present. These are our closest friends, family, or even soulmates. They are the ones who share both our burdens and joys. For Hiroshi, it was a comforting reminder that while some people come and go, others stay to provide lifelong support. We all have these constant figures in our lives. They are the ones who weather life's ups and downs with us, remaining by our side through thick and thin. They are like the trees in Hotaka's garden analogy, enduring, solid, and deeply rooted. Cherishing the lifelong companions. It's essential to recognize the value of these lifelong companions. Reflecting on this part of the Zen story made me appreciate the people who have stood by me no matter what. These relationships are not to be taken for granted. Often, we focus on the ones who leave or hurt us, forgetting the steadfast individuals who have been our constant sources of strength. I encourage you to reach out to someone who has been this kind of figure in your life and express your gratitude. These relationships are the foundation of our emotional and spiritual well-being. The web of destiny. In the conclusion of the story, Hotaka emphasizes that life is an intricate web of destinies, with each encounter contributing to the fabric of our existence. Every person we meet is a thread woven into our life story, and we are woven into theirs. Recognizing this interconnectedness helps us view every encounter as significant, no matter how brief. Hiroshi, having internalized this lesson, becomes a wise monk himself. He passes on Hotaka's teachings to younger monks, reminding them that life is a series of meaningful encounters. These interactions shape who we are and who we become. The lesson of the Zen story is clear. Every encounter in life, whether joyful or painful, is a vital part of our growth. People come into our lives for a reason, even if that reason isn't immediately clear. As Hotaka says, life is like a melody, with each person adding a unique note. When we listen carefully, we begin to appreciate the beauty of human connections. The takeaway from this video is profound yet simple. Open your heart to every encounter, for each one brings a lesson. Even the most difficult relationships contribute to the richness of your life's journey. Embrace the people who cross your path and learn from them. Whether they stay for a season or a lifetime, they are there to help you grow.